Hi guys, it's Mihiri here, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm sitting here with my friend Rachel Clark, and something interesting about Rachel is that she is a psychic medium. And how I got to know Rachel, it's a funny story. Her mom did my hair and makeup for a wedding that I was in, and she told me that she has a daughter who goes to the same college as I do. But funny enough, we went to the same school, but we never met until today in person. And a couple years ago, I quit my full-time job, and I was feeling so confused and lost. And on the same day, she had posted something on Instagram saying that she quit her job to become a medium full-time. So I messaged her right away, and she did a reading for me, and it was so awesome because it helped me out a lot. So I thought she would be the perfect person to do an interview for my first interview on my YouTube channel. So Rachel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we're gonna go right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about how do you identify yourself? What do you call yourself?
I actually call myself a spirit medium and instead of a psychic medium. And the reason for that is just because the word psychic has a little bit of negative connotation in our society.
Okay.
But in the way that psychic is defined, I believe I am that. It's just I don't really call myself a psychic. I call myself a spirit medium or a medium.
Spirit medium. Okay. And so along with that, can you tell us, like, how did you get into this? How old were you when it first started for you? How did it all happen?
Yeah, well, in hindsight now, I know that really I've been a medium or psychic my whole life.
Okay.
But I didn't really realize it until I was already in my 20s. So just a couple of years ago, I was pregnant with my daughter.
Okay.
And I didn't know that I was pregnant yet. I had a meeting and a business trip the next week where there was going to be a lot of drinking and partying and all of that. And I heard a very loud voice in my head say, "You're pregnant." And I had no idea that I was pregnant, so I took a test, and then, I was.
Right.
So that's when I was very stunned, and I was really confused about what was going on, and then I started to do more research, and that's how it got rolling.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing. So can you tell us, like, how do you receive messages? Like, what does that even look like?
Well, mostly, I receive the messages either through hearing or seeing.
Okay.
And both of those things are very, very subtle. Okay. It's not very obvious like they show in the movies.
Right.
And so if I see something, it's the same as, if I tell you to imagine an apple in your head and then you see like a bright red apple in your imagination. Okay. So it's comes from that same place of imagination or creativity. So that's the visuals. And then as far as the hearing, it's like, if you're just brushing your teeth and you're like minding your own business, and then you suddenly hear a voice saying something, whatever it could be, and it doesn't come from yourself. It's not yourself. It just comes from somewhere else. Okay. It's like that.
Okay, very cool. That's so interesting. So another question along those same lines is, does it ever scare you? Did that ever come to your mind at all?
Yeah, in the very beginning, I was still very, very scared of ghosts and spirits and all of that. So I didn't even at that time, I didn't really consider myself a medium. Okay. I was more of like a psychic at that time. And that was even the time that I was doing a reading for you. Right. I didn't really want to connect with spirits. And I think I had told you in our first reading something about seeing like a grandmotherly figure.
Yes,
do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then I think you had just gone to her funeral the week before, but knowing that freaked me out. Like on my end, I was like, oh my God, like I just talked to a spirit and I didn't even mean to.
Oh my gosh.
So I was a little scared of that, and I had that happen to me for about 6 months when I was just too scared. Okay. And then finally I kind of got the balls to just do it. I just did one reading, and then I was like off and rolling after that.
Wow, that's so cool. So how has it expanded since you started, back then to now where you're at now? Yeah,
back then, I was just very, very confused. When I did readings, they were always very good as far as, like the accuracy of the things that I was saying. But at the same time, I was still really confused about how to do it and what was happening and how to make it happen, and I didn't really understand like how do I like force the visions upon me rather than just receiving them. Right. So I went from that place where I am now, where it just happens so naturally, like I can't not hear stuff or see stuff during the day. So it's been a long journey because I've been practicing it for about 2 years now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, it just takes time.
Okay. So speaking of, like, how do you turn it off? Like, how is it that you're not just bombarded? Like, how can you even talk to me right now?
Well, it's really, like, for me, I've never had that problem. There are definitely a lot of mediums that say, you know, I couldn't turn it off.
Yeah.
And I think I told you, like, there was one time where it was like that, where no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't turn it off. But it was in the very beginning.
Right.
And I think now I'm just a lot more experienced, so I know how to, it's really just what you put your attention towards.
Okay.
So now, because I'm putting my attention towards you in this conversation, I'm not being bothered by anything.
Okay.
But if I'm doing something like trying to go to sleep or just some, like, mundane task, that's when I start being, like, bombarded with the messages.
Okay. Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So another thing that we have in common, actually, is that we're both Sri Lankan. And, you know, Sri Lankan, I feel like culture, when it comes to occupations, it's usually just doctor, lawyer, engineer is what they know. So can you tell us a little bit about what that experience was like with your family and how it was received and all of that?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the day that I made that post on Instagram, I was telling you how I'm really worried about what my mom's going to think and she's going to be, like, mad about what all the aunties say.
Right.
But the funny part is she really wasn't at all. Like, when I told her, I think she was maybe a little bit disappointed about me leaving my job.
Right.
But she didn't really say anything. That was just something that I kind of picked up on. But really, she was very supportive. She was very surprisingly supportive of me. And she, not even for a second, questioned what I was saying, which was the best part. And I think that was actually because she was Sri Lankan, because it's almost, like, ingrained in the Sri Lankan culture to, like, believe in this stuff and, like, astrology for weddings and all those things. And so so she thought it was very normal and natural, and she was like, oh yeah, you know, I remember since the time you were a kid that you would always know things and whatever.
Oh, that's so nice. So you had that support right away. That's awesome. So the next question I have for you is, what can you tell to people who are interested in this and want to pursue it for themselves and want to get into the world of psychic mediums and all that?
Yeah, well, that was me for a really long time, is that I figured out that I had these abilities, but I wasn't really sure how to translate them into doing readings full time. All the time, like, on cue. And so I was reading books and doing all this stuff, looking up, searching about psychics, and I wasn't finding what I was looking for. And I actually have people that come to me for coaching now, and they're in the same place where they want, you know, like, a magic book or a magic pill or a magic meditation that is just going to make you wake up the next day and be a brilliant psychic. And what I realized on my own, as well as what I tell people now, is that it just doesn't work like that. And it's just, it's really about expanding your consciousness, expanding your awareness into a world beyond our own. And so if somebody wants to know, like, what to read or what to study to help this, I would say stay away from psychic books. That's and actually study the nature of consciousness. Or study about awareness and study about intention. And, like, even, like, the law of attraction, things like that, because all of that, like, all of those energetic types of things is how this works. And the more you understand that, then the more you understand the craft of being a medium.
So it almost kind of comes naturally along with those.
It's a very natural thing. It just can't be forced.
Okay, so on the other end of that, what do you say to people who are skeptical about all this stuff? Because there's plenty of people who kind of think it's malarkey.
Well, I think that whether it is real or not is really kind of dependent on your viewpoint. And some people have the viewpoint that they want everything to be established in, like, physical material reality. And if you're looking for that type of proof, that is the reason why there is no proof, because it's like, what we're talking about is not based in physical material reality. Just like the law of attraction is not based in physical material reality. So, you know, it's like, I think of being psychic as an art and not a science. And so that's sort of the reason why it's not, like, the evidence is not really up to par as far as like the scientific community is concerned.
Got it. Because it's all in the physical realm.
But then I actually have never come upon somebody that is like that, and I think it's another thing about, like, you know, you're attracting whatever. Yeah. So I've never really had this conversation with somebody, but if someone did say that or believe that, what I would say is that I don't really want to force them or convince them of anything, because I believe in reincarnation. I believe in the idea of we all have certain purposes within our lifetimes.
Okay.
And I believe that for me, I have my life path is to have an understanding of the spirit world and to have that belief and that knowing, which I do. And then other people have the complete opposite. They're supposed to be completely unaware of it and live their lives without being aware of the spirit world. So it's almost as if, like, I feel like I have, like, cheat codes to life. Versus other people don't have those codes or whatever. So if they don't believe in it, that means, like, they're not allowed to have the cheat codes.
Like, they're just not meant to.
So I'm like, okay, like, if they're like that, then I'm just like, okay, that's, you know, that's your purpose and path, and then if you ever do kind of get on this path, then I'm always here for you. But if not...
So you're not trying to, like, convince anybody of anything. Yeah, that's so great. And like you said, like, you just attract the people that already believe in it and are in the same world as you are. So that's awesome. Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, actually, I had a reading with Rachel, which was so amazing because it felt like I was talking to a friend of like 10 years because she knew so much about what was already happening in my life. But what was really awesome, and just proof of everything that's been what we're talking about, I was telling her about how I want to figure out what my career path in life is, and I've been on this YouTube journey for about a year now, and I've been making my videos on my iPhone, and I was like, oh, I really want to get equipment to make my YouTube channel much better, but it's super expensive to buy all this equipment. And she just told me to write down what do you need and say, this is what I need for my sole purpose. And I wrote down the camera I want, how much it costs, the lighting and all of that. And within, I think, a month now, we are recording on my brand new camera. So it's just proof of, like, everything that we're talking about. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. So thank you so much. Speaking of YouTube channels, Rachel's actually on YouTube as well. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your channel? Yeah, I actually have a channel. I mainly, the videos that are on there right now have been all about how to become a psychic and how to develop your gifts. I truly believe that absolutely anybody can be a psychic, and we all are born with these gifts, and we just kind of need to learn how to understand it and develop it. So those are what my videos are about, but I'm actually going to be making videos about all types of topics, like the law of attraction and spirituality and consciousness and awareness and intention and all of those things. So definitely check out my channel. It's called Rachel Olaniyi. Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with us.
Of course.
And thank you guys for tuning in. And I hope you catch us on the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye.